Looks like crap. Oh well. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm really excited about today's video. We're going to be trying out the brand new NYX Cosmetics Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. This is a really exciting launch in collaboration with Alyssa Ashley, so congratulations Alyssa, she's amazing. So the first obvious great thing about this foundation is the shade range. Super full, super balanced. Looks like there's going to be a shade for everyone, which is awesome. So the description says, lightweight, waterproof, and pigmented AF. Our new Can't Stop, Won't Stop full coverage foundation hustles as hard as you do. This comfy liquid formula comes in 45 flattering tones that don't transfer. Oh, that's nice. Every creamy shade glides on smooth, delivering matte coverage and color that stays true for up to 24 hours. Our little overachiever also works to control shine and mattify your complexion all day long, but it doesn't stop there. This foundation is non-comedogenic. I hope I said that right. What does that mean? Non-comedogenic. Non-comedogenic. It means that it's specifically formulated to not clog pores, which is cool, and is suitable for oh my god. And is suitable for normal, oily combination and sensitive skin types. So the description worries me a little bit because I have pretty dry skin. So I typically gravitate to more like nourishing, like moisturizing foundations. I feel like, I don't know why, but like, I feel like a lot of these new releases that have a very inclusive shade range are all matte foundations, and I'm like, what if somebody doesn't have, you know, oily skin or doesn't really like a matte finish, and I wish that a brand would put out a more kind of dewy finish, or at least kind of like satin finish that had an inclusive shade range. So that's just my 2 cents. I'm still excited about this foundation. It is supposed to be super long wearing, which is cool. So I'm just gonna make sure I'm like real moisturized and ready to go for this. So I already have on a moisturizer and a sunscreen, so we're gonna do a little bit more skin prep. So I don't really have a super hydrating foundation right now. So I'm gonna use a little bit of marula oil, not foundation, primer. I'm gonna use a little bit of marula oil around my under eyes. That's actually like where I get the most dry, is like all up in this area. And then I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. 3-in-1 base. This isn't, I wouldn't call it a hydrating primer, but it does give some moisture, but it also kind of fills in your pores a little bit. It's a very magical project. I can't say words today. It's a great product. And it just gives you a really smooth, even base for application. So I'm really gonna slather that on. I'm also, just because I'm extra, I'm gonna spray a little bit of the NYX Dewy Setting Spray on my face beforehand, because I really want to give this foundation a fair shot on my face. And I don't want it to look crappy because I have dry skin. So some people were saying they didn't feel like they had enough pale shades. I disagree. I don't think I have ever not bought the lightest foundation shade, ever. And typically I buy drugstore foundation, so there is a lot less of an option oftentimes, but this is actually the 3rd shade in. However, the shades I've noticed are kind of like, there's like 2 for each kind of level of pigmentation. So like there's 2 that are super pale, and one has a more yellow undertone, one has a more pinky reddy undertone, and then the next one up, which is this one, this is in the shade Fair. This is in the shade Fair. This one, and then the one next to it, this one has a little bit more of a yellow undertone, the other one has a little bit more of a pink undertone. I went to Ulta to pick this up, and I was actually able to base match. And this seems like it's going to be a damn near perfect match, so I'm excited about that. If you're concerned about the pale shades, I would go, like, try to go to Ulta and swatch them and get matched, because I really do think that there is going to be shade for you. It's a great, great line. Okay, I'm gonna stop blabbering and put this on my face. So I'm gonna take a cue from TheTaylaa and do half my face with a brush and half with a sponge, and then we'll kind of see how it looks. So we'll start with the brush shot. I can't say words today. We'll start with the brush side. So I'm just gonna put, oh, shake it. Just gonna put one drop, if it'll, oh, there we go. Pump like, oh wait, maybe I had to turn it. Okay, I did have to turn my pump sideways. I think it was locked. That's my bad. So I just have a little bit on my brush here, and I'm just going to put this on. Shade actually maybe a little bit light, but it's matching my neck pretty well. It's lighter than my face right now, but if you look at my neck is lighter than my face, so I think it's gonna work. It's definitely feeling like it's drying down pretty quickly. I'm gonna do another pump for my forehead. And a little bit actually went pretty far. I didn't put very much on my brush. I do really look like a ghost though. So I think so far it looks pretty good. I am noticing it picking up a little bit of texture right here. And I notice with matte foundations, it picks up like on the peach fuzz on my face a lot. But I think that's just gonna happen with like any matte foundation. Looks really nice on my forehead. I am already noticing a little bit of creasing right here on my smile lines. I always get really bad creasing there no matter the foundation. So this area, it just seems like it's not adhering as well. So I'm gonna go in with a little bit more. In terms of coverage, you can definitely still see like my freckles and stuff coming through, which I really don't mind. But if you are looking for something that's like really gonna cover, at least on one layer, it doesn't look like it's like full coverage. I would say it's like medium to full. It is doing like a pretty good job. It even covered some of my dark circles, but you can definitely still see some things coming through. I am gonna add just a little bit more just to see if we can build up the coverage a little bit. So 2 layers, definitely more coverage. I do feel like it's emphasizing more texture now, like in this area. So this may be one that looks better with a sponge. So let's try it on the other side of the face. My face legit looks like a ghost right now on the monitor. It probably doesn't look that bad on like the actual camera screen. Alright, so with this sponge, I need more coffee first. The sponge, again, I'm just gonna put a drop on the sponge and just start patting it in. Again, a lot went a long way. I did do 2 layers on this side, which I shouldn't have done, but I think the coverage is about the same, maybe a hair more with a brush. I don't know though, it's doing pretty well with the sponge. So in terms of coverage, I think you probably do either or. I'm gonna do another drop here. Again, I do feel like it is drying pretty fast, which I don't love. I kind of prefer when foundations give you a little bit of time to play, you know, a little bit of time to blend. I'm gonna add another layer on the sponge side so we can really judge like the difference in coverage and in finish, because I have 2 coats on the other side. Okay, so now that we've got 2 coats on each side, I do feel like the coverage is a little bit better on the brush side, but I definitely prefer the finish on the sponge side. You can still see some texture in here, and mostly it's just picking up on those little baby hairs. That's just something I've noticed with a lot of like matte foundations on my skin. Maybe I should just shave my face, just get it all over with. I went a little lighter on my forehead. You can definitely still see like my freckles and stuff coming through, but on my cheeks, it covered everything pretty dang well. So I think you can definitely get full coverage with 2 coats of this. I would say like medium to full with 1. I think this might be a good one to apply with a brush and then really get in there and like tap it in with a sponge. Yeah, I'm not loving the texture on my cheeks right now. It's not horrible. Like, I've definitely put foundations on that have been way, way worse, and it's actually, sometimes I find with matte foundations, like, they don't, like, stick to my skin. Like, they just look super, super patchy. This one, I wouldn't say is looking patchy, but it definitely is emphasizing texture in some areas. So what I'm going to do is actually go in with a little bit more of the NYX Dewy Setting Spray. I know that like not all of you are going to do this, and you do want to get an accurate read of the foundation, but for me, I just really want to make this work and kind of see how it's going to work on my skin, because already I can tell like this foundation really isn't made for like my skin type, so I'm just kind of trying to see if I can make it work, and see if it can still be an option for people with drier skin or people who don't love a matte finish. So I'm gonna spritz a little bit of this, and I'm just gonna pounce my sponge in. This is what I do a lot with foundations that I feel dry too quickly and don't really give me enough time to like work with everything, because then I can just do like another like extra layer of really pouncing that into my skin, and really blending it. So I want to see how both cream and powder blend over this. I don't want to set this because it does say it's transfer proof, and I really want to test that. Alright, so I'm going to go in with my NYX Wonder Stick. I'm almost out. Since it dries so quickly, I am a little worried about cream products blending on top. I don't know if it's going to look like poop. Oh, I totally forgot concealer. I'm good. I'm going to add a little bit of this LA Girl concealer around my nose. It is like the only concealer that I actually like on my nose, so I always put this no matter what. It's not the same shade, not even remotely, but it's okay. So I always, oh whoa, do you see what just happened? This never happens with this concealer, but it completely rubbed off what was on my nose. So I'm going to go in with just the tiniest bit more of that foundation. So, okay, that's concerning. Oh my god, that looks terrible. This is like almost to the point where I want to like take off all of my foundation and like redo it. Like, do you see what's going on in this area? It's just the foundation like on itself, basically. Yeah, this is looking, I have like my contour, pretty shitty right now. That concealer just totally like messed everything up. I don't know exactly what happened. So I'm actually gonna remove all this and I'm gonna apply it again with just 1 layer. And we're just gonna kind of see like if we can make this work, because I really want to make this foundation work. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to reapply it with just 1 layer, same skin prep. I'm not going to do the dewy setting spray over. I think maybe that messed with it a little. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm doing the reapplication, and I just want to show you guys, it's looking a lot better. I tried to build it up under my eyes because I didn't want to add another concealer and disrupt it, but like it's totally picking up on itself here. So I think that if you're going to try to build this one, you have to work super, super fast because it dries and then you can't blend even itself on top of it. So I'm going to try a different concealer. This is the Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer. I'm going to see if that works better. But let's just Let's pray. Let's have a moment. This is also a pretty matte, fast drying concealer, so help me. Okay, that seems to be working a lot better than the LA Girl one. That is blending better on top. So it's like picking up on itself here, like really bad. It's not as horrible as like my nose looked. It's emphasizing texture here so much, and I typically don't really get texture there, so I think it's just the foundation like picking up on itself. Guys, I'm sad. So this is a Pixie foundation brush. I'm gonna see if I can get this to blend a little bit better. Okay. That brush seemed to help a little bit. It's like a super dense one. I think that's kind of as good as we're gonna get. Okay, guys. So I did a reapplication. I did basically all the same skin prep, except I left out the NYX Dewy Setting Spray. So I used a lot less. I did basically 2 pumps for my entire face, and then I tried to build it up in certain areas. And it definitely did kind of pick up on itself when I tried to do that, so that was a little bit disappointing. I think it's just because it dries so quickly that you don't really have time to like build it up. So far I'm not loving this foundation. I do realize this doesn't say it's for dry skin. It does say it's for normal to oily skin, so it's not really made for my skin type, so I can't really expect it to be like a perfect foundation for me, but I did still want to put this out there if you're intrigued by this foundation and you have, you know, dry skin like me. So from far away and like in the monitor, it doesn't look bad. It looks good. Actually, the coverage is great. It looks kind of like porcelain. It doesn't look super It doesn't look super patchy, but when you get up close, there's just some areas where you can see a little bit of texture. It's looking a lot better with less layers, because I think the first time I just put too much on and it just really caked up on itself and it did not look good, so I would not say this is buildable. But I'm liking it more now that I have less on. This might be one too. I kind of feel like it might be one that looks better as it kind of warms up to your skin. It does feel pretty much dry. This does say it's transfer proof, so let's try it. I'm scared. That's pretty dang good. I mean, you can tell that it came off a little bit on my cheek, but it's not, do the other side. It's not really transferring, so that's awesome. It does say it's transfer proof, so that's rad. I do also want to mention that this foundation was incredibly difficult to remove. I tried with a makeup wipe and it just felt like tugging on my skin. It was awful. And then I went to put my lotion on and there was still foundation, so I had to do like the lotion and then I did water and it was a whole thing. So I'm starting to believe in this 24-hour foundation thing. I really do think it might last that long on your face. Don't know how it's gonna look, but it does seem to be pretty adherent to your skin. So guys, I don't know, I'm liking it more and more the longer it's on my face, so we're definitely gonna have to see with the wear test. I'm nervous to put cream products on it now because it reacted to that concealer so badly. We're just gonna go for it. Looks like crap. Oh well. Not gonna do my nose though, because I'm just gonna leave that area alone. It does not look great on my nose. Gonna do the same thing I always do. I'm gonna pinch my foundation brush and then just drag upwards. Ooh, yeah. With the cream product, it's basically kind of removing the foundation in like the whole area that I'm putting the cream product on. So this foundation definitely doesn't play nice with other like cream or liquid products, so just keep that in mind. It might do really well with powder, but yeah, I don't, it's doing better on my, well, yeah, it's just anywhere that I'm placing the cream product, it's just completely removing the foundation. Oh, y'all, I'm sad. Sucks because I really wanted to like this foundation, but it's just not working for me very well. Yeah, that looks horrible. Yeah, that just like, that cream product, it just is not meshing with the foundation, and I usually don't have that problem with this product, so I'm gonna go over it with a sponge and see if we can kind of salvage it. So yeah, you can just see like the foundation eroding around where I placed that cream product and where I was blending it in. So it's not looking great, friends. It's not looking too terrible right now, but I really had to work with this. I had to do a lot to make it look decent. I've been literally just messing with this foundation for the past like hour. And foundation should not take that long. I mean, keep in mind I did like end up removing it and I'm filming, so like it does take a little bit longer, but still that's just a lot of work for a foundation, and that's just like not worth it. I was gonna try to do like a look today, and like I don't think that's gonna happen. We're probably just gonna like throw on some mascara and call it a day. Yeah, I'm really sad because I wanted this foundation to work, and we're still gonna do the wear test. We're still gonna see how it looks throughout the day, but yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I am gonna do some powder products now. I'm gonna go in with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and hopefully the powder kind of makes it better. Okay, so the bronzer seems to be blending pretty well, but keep in mind I also have that cream product on there, so, and that kind of, it like, the foundation like disappeared when I put that on, and like I said, that normally doesn't happen with that specific product, so it's just probably some ingredient that it's just doesn't react well to. I don't know if it's like water-based and my other ones are oil-based or what, but it's not looking great. I want to try mixing it, but I feel like it's gonna react badly with like any foundation that I try to mix it with, because it just doesn't play nice with other products. It's a lot of bronzer. It's fine. Alright, we're gonna add some blush. This is the Milani Baked Blush in Hermoso. And yeah, powder products seem to work very well over it, and that's probably because it's really, like, it's pretty much a powder finish. I don't know, it's just not a good makeup day, and that makes me sad. Do I, like, dare put a highlighter on top of this mess? Yes, I do. I'm gonna go in with this guy. This is the Pixie Glowy powder on this flat brush here, and I'm just gonna try to work it in. My highlight looks way more textured than this normally does, so I'm gonna keep it pretty light today. So that's pretty much all I'm gonna do for face makeup. I am gonna spritz a little bit with the NYX Dewy Setting Spray just to try to like make this look a little bit better on my face. I'm not gonna spray my all-nighter or like any kind of long wear setting spray because I don't want it to affect the wear time, because I want to test the wear time. It helped a little as far as like it demattifying, but my skin still looks pretty textured. It normally doesn't look this bad, especially my highlight. My nose looks really textured. My forehead isn't bad. Not getting any creasing on my smile lines yet. I was a little earlier when I had the 2 layers on, but now it's looking a lot better. I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup. I'm gonna give you a few more thoughts, and then we're gonna go about and do a wear test. I'll be right back. Beanies make everything better. So I just finished up my makeup. I literally just threw some like bronzer in my crease and slapped on some gold eyeshadow. Not mad at it though, honestly. Pretty cute, like little simple look. This foundation, this boy right here. I'm liking it the longer it's on my face. It's looking a little bit less textured, less super matte. And in this lighting, it really doesn't look bad at all. But I stepped into my bathroom and I got like close to the mirror and you can just like, you can see it on my face. Like when you get really super up close. Again, in this lighting, not bad, but in the bathroom, it was like just a cakey mess basically. So, not as bad right now, but definitely not my favorite. And I think that the biggest thing is the amount of time it took me to get it to look decent was just not something I'm trying to do every day. And you know, keep in mind this is a first impression, so like I would probably find better ways to work with it. But so far, I'm not loving it. It is looking better. I do want to see how it wears throughout the day. I'm going to wait till the end of the day to kind of give you my final thoughts on this foundation. We'll see how it wears, see if it kind of starts to look better throughout the day. But so far, it's not looking great just on my skin. So it is noon 01 right now. I want to keep this on for at least 8 hours. I'm not trying to do a 24-hour wear test. It's not gonna happen. But I'll do another check-in about 4 hours or so. I might keep this on for longer. It just kind of depends on when I'm like winding down. I'm usually up a little bit later, so we might be able to keep this on for like 10, 11 hours. So we shall see. Anyways, I'm gonna stop babbling and I will see you in a few hours. So it's about 4 o'clock right now. We've just kind of been doing things around the house. But anyway, the foundation looks about how it did 4 hours ago. It's still pretty textured. As you can see, it has rubbed off on my nose a little bit, but it hasn't looked super cakey or anything, which is good. So I think if you have oily skin, I think this would do a good job throughout the day. I think that it would kind of control your oils a little bit, so you might really like this if you have oily skin, but for me, it, you know, looks just as shitty as it did 4 hours ago. So I do also want to mention that I haven't noticed any creasing on my smile lines here, which is good. With a lot of foundations, I guess there's a little bit. It's not like horrible, and I usually get pretty bad creasing. It also feels like really lightweight, like I don't feel like there's anything on my face, which is nice. It just doesn't look the best. I'm gonna try to get some more things done, and I will see you guys at the end of the night. Hey guys, so it's actually a few days later because I completely lost the ending to that video. Great. So that's okay. It gives me a chance to talk about you know, how I've been testing it the past couple days. So that first day of the wear test, it wore pretty well. It did rub off on my nose, but I had been like rubbing my nose and stuff, so understandable. I do believe this foundation is long wearing. I still didn't like how it looked texture-wise on my face. It just was emphasizing so much of the texture on my face and all the little baby hairs and stuff. I wouldn't wear that foundation on its own again. However, the past couple days I have been trying it mixed with other foundations. I was worried about how that would go mixing it because of the way it reacted to those cream products. But it's actually been going pretty well. So the first day I mixed it with the No. 7 Lift and Illuminate foundation, which is a very hydrating, very glowy, dewy foundation. And that looked really pretty. I used a little bit more of this than this, and it made this a lot more long wearing. I still didn't love how it looked texture-wise. I still think it emphasized my texture a little bit, but was not nearly as bad as this one on its own on my skin. And then today I mixed it with the IT Cosmetics CC cream. Again, this is a very kind of more, this isn't really like super glowy. This is the original, but it's more of a natural finish, more dewy than this one. And it worked pretty dang well. So I've had this foundation on for about 8 hours right now. So this is what it looks like after 8 hours mixed with the CC cream. And as you can see, it looks quite a bit better. I'm not seeing nearly as much texture in this region, and it definitely made the CC cream hold up better. I don't really have very much creasing right here, not nearly as much as I normally would with that foundation. Stayed pretty well on my nose, and it's looking, yeah, it's looking pretty good. So, like I said again, this definitely isn't a foundation I would wear on its own for me, but I do actually like it mixed in with other foundations, so I think I will continue to wear it that way. So let's just go over a few pros and cons of this foundation. These are pros and cons for me personally, so what may be a con to me is a pro to you, so we're just gonna go through it. So pros to me is this has an awesome shade range. It has pretty good coverage, I would say medium to full coverage, and it also is totally transfer proof, so that's awesome. It is super long wearing. This will last for ever. The first day I wore it for about 9 hours, day I wore it for 8 hours. You know, some of you are gonna have days that are longer than that, but I really do think that this is one that's gonna hold up, and it pretty much looks the same as it does after that long as it does after, you know, 3 or 4 hours. So that's awesome. It feels very lightweight. It feels like nothing on the skin. It's very comfortable to wear. Even though I felt like on its own it looked dry on my skin, it didn't feel drying. It didn't feel, you know, like it was sucking the life out of my skin. And so that's a major plus. And another major plus is that it is pretty affordable. I believe it retails for around 15 bucks. I will have the price up here somewhere. That's great to have a drugstore option with so many shades. Now moving on to the cons. Con number one, again for me personally, is this is a very matte foundation. Even when I mixed it with the Lift and Illuminate, it still looked matte on my face, and the Lift and Illuminate is a very glowy foundation. It just wasn't quite as matte. So it's a very matte foundation. And to me, that's a con. It's not my thing, but to you, it might be a pro if you like matte foundations. And then second, it just emphasized so much texture on my skin. It clung to every single hair, and it did not look good. I also would not call this foundation buildable, because anytime you try to build it up, it picks up on itself and it just looks really weird, and it separates and it looks patchy. So I would not say this is a buildable foundation. And then it's really difficult to blend cream products on top of this, or even some liquid products like that concealer. So if you're gonna pick this up, you really gotta find products that work with it, or just use powder, because that worked well over it. But that's just something to keep in mind, that it doesn't necessarily play nice with a lot of other products, especially once it's already dried down. So in conclusion, on my skin, I just really didn't like the finish of it. I didn't like how it emphasized my texture and how it was super matte on its own. However, I do like it mixed with other foundations, so I'll continue to use it that way. And if you are someone with oily skin, you may really like this, because it is super long wearing and it's very matte. So anyways, that is my thoughts on this foundation. I'm kind of glad I got to come back a couple days later and kind of give you guys a bit more insight into how this foundation wears. I'm so sorry that I didn't show you the end of the day for that one day, but it looked pretty similar to how it did at the first check-in. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell if you want to be notified when I upload. Let me know if you've picked up this foundation and if you like it, if you hate it, and what your thoughts are on it. I would love to hear them in the comments section below. Otherwise, I hope you guys are having a good day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.